All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So I just posted the recap video of today's disappointment, aka the Jets at the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins win 11-6. Dolphins advance to the playoffs. The Jets go home. We knew the Jets were going home, regardless of how the team looked today, regardless of the score. But I feel like I could speak for a lot of Jet Nation. You just wanted to see more. Right, all things considered, knowing that the team is on a 5-game losing streak, knowing that this team has looked absolutely god-awful offensively in the last 3 weeks. And it kind of brings me to the exact point of this video. Robert Saleh in his post-game press conference sounded just... I mean, it was hard to watch. I mean, he's just sounded frustrated, upset, disappointed. He sounded like a Jet fan, you know? It just... Today's effort, today's performance was not what you wanted to see. And you can just tell by the sound of his voice, by how he was, giving answers, just rough. It was rough, but he was non-committal on OC Mike LaFleur returning for the 2023 season. If his job was safe, if he was guaranteed to come back, I think we probably would have heard a solidified answer. Yeah, he's our guy. Yeah, we're going to stick with him. But Saleh went on to say that he's going to go back, go through his process, do his due diligence, all that kind of stuff, and not really, setting that line. No, he's not. Yes, he is. It's more so a wait and see. And, we have to look at the facts here. I like LaFleur's system. I like the West Coast scheme. I like what the Rams do. I like what the 49ers do. I enjoy watching it. I think there's a lot of really, really smart things. And when you can get the right personnel in the building, especially in the offensive line, you can do a lot of damage to defenses in today's day and age. It's a time-tested system. But my problem with LaFleur isn't so much the scheme. It's not so much the system. It's the play calls and the game plan going in, right? Going into the week. I feel like it's not a coincidence when the Jets continuously start slow. It looks like it takes them a quarter to really start, either a quarter or a half in some cases, to get going offensively. And, I kind of say this jokingly, but I feel like the Jets should just suit up, hit the field early, simulate a quarter, and then by the time kickoff rolls around, they're kind of in the flow of the game. It doesn't take, there's not this long onboarding process that needs to take place for the Jets to really settle in. So to me, when we're constantly seeing this week after week, time and time again, this season, time and time again last year, it's not just some sort of weird coincidence. I just feel like the Jets have a hard time game planning offensively. They have a hard time settling into games early on. In a playoff atmosphere, you can't do that. You can't just wash a quarter down the drain and say, we'll make it back up in the second half. You need to utilize every single possession. I mean, imagine the Jets make the playoffs next year and they start off that game with 3 or 4 straight punts. It's just unacceptable. The Jets have got to start faster in games. And I believe, of course, it's up to the players to, execute and make plays and this and that, block, catch, throw. But it's just not a coincidence. We've seen it way too much. The Jets just start slow. My other issue with LaFleur is the play calling aspect. Whether it's going away from the running game, whether it's throwing too much, putting so much responsibility on a backup quarterback to throw. I mean, Joe Flacco, third-string quarterback Joe Flacco, at the time backup quarterback, led the NFL in attempts through the first 3 weeks of the season. Week 2, I believe, against the Browns, he had over 50 attempts. Like, I just feel like we rely so much on throwing. Granted, Mike LaFleur was coming over from San Francisco as the passing game coordinator, so he might prefer that route as far as, an overall offensive philosophy. I totally get that. But I feel like at the same time, we have to look at the personnel and kind of adapt the play calling to the personnel. And if we have Joe Flacco out there and our best wide receiver is a rookie, maybe it's not the best idea to be throwing the ball so much, especially if we're not having tons and tons of success with it. It's not like we're Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers. We're just not in that. We don't have that type of personnel. Again, going away from the running game. We can even point to like last week. Must win, literally a must win game. That's not an over exaggeration against the Seattle Seahawks, down 2 scores. It's a fourth and 2 late in the game and we're punting it away. Like, Why are these decisions being made? It's just mind-blowing stuff. Is Mike LaFleur perfect? No, obviously not. Is he a top 5 OC? No. Top 10? No. Is he the bottom? Is he bottom 3, bottom 5? I don't think so. I don't think so. I know it's been rough over these past, 6 weeks now. And it was, rough early on as well offensively. We all know as fans that a lot of the wins were carried by Breece Hall in the defense. But is Mike LaFleur one of the worst offensive coordinators in football? Bottom 3? I would have to say no, but he's definitely in the bottom 10. I would say anywhere from like 24 to 29, somewhere in that range. We have to ask the question here, or Saleh has to ask the question, can the Jets upgrade? Can the Jets get a better option at the offensive coordinator position this offseason? I believe the answer is yes. I do think there's going to be candidates out there that the Jets could bring in, swap Mike LaFleur out, bring somebody else in, and we can possibly see better offensive production. If the Jets decide to stick with LaFleur, am I going to be irritated? Am I going to wash the 2023 season down the drain and say, LaFleur's here, season's over? Kind of the same feel with like Adam Gase. No, I'm not going to do that because again, I do like LaFleur's scheme. And Saleh made a really, really good point in his press conference, I believe, a week and a half ago, where he said, if San Fran, he put out a poor defense production wise during his time with San Francisco, but Kyle Shanahan stuck with him, and all of a sudden that defense flipped. Right, they got some better players, they got some more talent. And that defense literally went to one of the best. Literally went from one of the worst to one of the best. We saw that last year with Jeff Ulbrich, the worst defense in football. We're talking about how good it is this season. So, Saleh addressed it. Throughout this, this week, basically just saying like, hey, you never want to give up on a young coach. Young coaches need time, but it's just going to be a strange situation to kind of see what the final decision is with Mike LaFleur in this OC position, because we got a guy out there, Frank Reich, who is a highly, highly regarded offensive mind, obviously former player, former quarterback. And I think if the Jets could land him, that would be awesome. But, if you fire Mike LaFleur and you can't get an upgrade, you essentially down, because you're not going to fire a guy like that and then try to rehire him if you can't go out there and land the candidates. So it's almost like you have to have that guarantee. So it should be really, really interesting to kind of see how this whole thing plays out. I feel like we're going to have an answer by tomorrow. I mean, we should have an answer by tomorrow. I don't want this thing to linger on for a week and then finally make a decision and, multiple candidates are off the board here. So hoping we get some sort of clarity pretty soon. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Would you rather keep LaFleur at least one more season, see what he has, upgrade the offense, get better on the O-line, get healthy, or fire him, part ways with him, and try to go out and add an, pretty exciting OC, whether it's a veteran option or a younger option? We'll see how it plays out. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, go Jets.